After being selected with the 13th overall pick in the 2015 NBA draft, Devin Booker has transcended himself as one of the greatest Phoenix Suns players of all time. It's crazy to think that someone that you can argue was the best out of his draft class was taken with the 13th overall pick. However, would you believe me when I told you that this guy wasn't even top 10 in his class when it came to college basketball recruiting? Which is so crazy when we look back at it now, but in today's video, I want to look over all the players that are ranked above Devin Booker as a prospect. Now, I'm gonna have to kind of go by pretty fast when I talk about these players because there are so many people I do have to cover. So before I get into this video, if you guys could leave a like on this and subscribe to the channel if you're new and notifications on. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel by the end of the year. And if you do not subscribe to this channel, you are not pushing P. With all that being said, let's get into the video. The number 1 ranked player that year was Jahlil Okafor, who was actually the number 3 pick in the 2015 NBA draft. At the time, a lot of people thought this was the best center in that draft class, and unfortunately, he would not pan out. The Sixers would take him with the 3rd overall pick, but he would just be a terrible NBA player, and I'm pretty sure he's playing for the Pistons right now. Mind you, this was someone that a lot of people said should have went over Karl in the NBA draft, and well, that did not exactly age well. The number 2 ranked player was Myles Turner, who actually had a pretty successful NBA career with the Indiana Pacers. I do want to note though that at the time of recording this, he could be getting traded. There's a lot of rumors going on, but overall it seemed like this pick really panned out for the Indiana Pacers. Cliff Alexander was the number 3 ranked player that year, and his career had very much promise as he was going to Kansas, which is a very prestigious school for basketball. However, his numbers were very poor, and even though he did not have good numbers at Kansas, he decided to declare for the NBA draft, and in no one's surprise, he went undrafted. His NBA career was not at all successful, and currently he is playing overseas basketball. The number 4 ranked player was Tyus Jones, and he had a really successful college career as he won a national championship with Duke. His NBA career, however, was pretty mediocre, and currently he is playing for the Memphis Grizzlies as a pretty solid role player, so you can't say it turned out the worst, but he definitely did not have the NBA career a lot of people thought he would have. Emmanuel Mudiay did not actually play college basketball as he went to play overseas to get a quick bag, and he went number 7 in his NBA draft. However, he did not have a successful NBA career. It is very much a forgetful NBA career. However, he did play overseas for a little bit, but as of recently, around December, he did get a 10-day contract with the Kings. Unfortunately, the Kings did not renew his 10-day contract, and he's currently a free agent right now. The number 6 ranked player that year was Trey Lyles, who, fun fact, did play with Devin Booker in college and was selected by the Utah Jazz. His NBA career was pretty mediocre, and currently he is playing with the Detroit Pistons, and he's a pretty solid role player. Coming into the NBA, the number 7 ranked player that year, Stanley Johnson, had some comparisons to Kawhi Leonard, as he was really good on the defensive side, but his offensive side could use some work. And for the longest time, his NBA career did not pan out. However, he's now playing with the LA Lakers, and he has revived his career as being a solid role player for them. With the way he's been playing lately, it's safe to say that he does have a secured roster spot just for the end of the season, so hopefully he can ball out. Justin Jackson was selected with the 15th overall pick, and he did play for a handful of teams like the Sacramento Kings, the Dallas Mavericks, and the OKC Thunder. He's been spending a lot of time in the G League. However, as of recently, about a month ago, he did play for the Phoenix Suns on a 10-day contract, but unfortunately they did not renew it, and now he's back in the G League. The 9th ranked player was Karl, who would go on to be one of the more successful players in this recruiting class. He did play college basketball with Devin Booker at Kentucky, and he is currently still on the Minnesota Timberwolves and is having a pretty good career, and you could honestly argue he's the top 5 center. I think it's pretty crazy to think about the fact that a lot of people were going to take Jahlil Okafor over Karl when it came to the 2015 NBA draft. The final player in the top 10 of this recruiting class was Theo Pinson, who played with UNC and won a national championship. His NBA career would not be as successful as his college career, and he is currently playing on a 2-way contract for the Dallas Mavericks. But I think it's safe to say he's a pretty good G League player. The 11th ranked player in this recruiting class was Kelly Oubre, who went on to be a sexy Instagram model. I'm sorry, y'all. I felt pretty uncomfortable doing that, not gonna lie. All jokes aside, he had a pretty good NBA career with the Wizards, and he did join the Suns and actually did pretty well for them, and now he's playing on the Charlotte Hornets and is having a career high year. Kevon Looney had a pretty good college career for U of A, and he was selected by the Warriors with the 30th overall pick and is still with them today and has been a good role player for them. D'Angelo Russell was the number 2 pick of the 2015 NBA draft and had an okay career with the LA Lakers, but when I tell you he joined Brooklyn and started dominated. Brooklyn D'Angelo Russell was one of the craziest things we'd ever seen. He was an instant all-star, and a lot of people thought he was going to be a player for the future. For context, him and Devin Booker are around the same age, and we see how well Devin Booker's doing now. Unfortunately, he was traded to the Warriors, and after that, he's currently in Minnesota with Karl Anthony Towns, which is cool and all because they're best friends, but it really does suck when you look back at how good he was in Brooklyn. He hasn't really fallen off that much. When we look at statistically and the fact that he really just doesn't seem like the player he used to be in Brooklyn, it kind of does suck. I wish Phoenix would get him, to be honest, maybe in like 3 to 4 years after CP3 does leave, or for him to be a 6-man and wait for CP3 to leave, because I think him and Devin Booker would be so good together. When Devin Booker was a free agent, actually before he signed his max deal, he really wanted Phoenix to push to get D'Angelo Russell, as they are pretty good friends. It would be cool to think about, however, I just want D'Angelo Russell to have a successful NBA career, as he is one of my favorite players, or used to be one of my favorite players when he was playing for Brooklyn. Isiah Whitehead was a second-round pick for the Brooklyn Nets, and he did play for them for about 2 seasons, having a very forgetful NBA career, and is currently playing overseas right now. The 15th ranked player was Justice Winslow, who was someone that should have never been a lottery pick. He was a second-round talent, however, he had a really good March Madness run, and because of that March Madness run, he was a stretch of a pick, and the Miami Heat took him in the lottery, and he was exactly what he was, which is a second-round talent for the Miami Heat, and he is currently playing for the LA Clippers. Isaac Copeland had a decent college career, as he did play for teams like Nebraska and Georgetown, and I mean, he played overseas, and that's really all there is to it. It was pretty forgetful, and I have no idea if he's even playing overseas now. Joel Berry played for UNC and had a pretty good college career, and he was only really known for this play.
Either Williams coming or Johnson.
Off the quick head fake. Barry's the runner.
2018, he would go on to forego the NBA draft and did go undrafted and play in the G League for a little bit. And he was playing overseas until last year, when he did decide to step away from the game of basketball. And now we're at Devin Booker, who is the 18th ranked player who, well, you guys already know the rest. He's one of the best young talents in the NBA. A lot of people think he's going to be the greatest Phoenix Suns player of all time. Some people would say he's already there. I think he's going to eventually be there. It's crazy to think that a lot of people oversaw Devin Booker, and he was only the 18th ranked prospect. And again, he was the 13th overall pick in the 2015 NBA draft, which me and a lot of other people would try to argue that Devin Booker was the best player to come out of that draft. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what happened to every prospect that was ranked above Devin Booker. I know I went pretty fast when I was talking about these players, but some guys like Isaac Copeland, for example, there wasn't a whole lot on them, and they're just pretty unknown people, so I had to get all the research I knew. And I didn't want to make this like a 10 to 20 minute video. I didn't want to make this too long and try to stretch it out for you guys. So I gave you the information that was necessary, and if you guys think I went too fast, please let me know, because I do plan to do more videos like this where I talk about prospects ranked above people, or maybe what happened to every player drafted before blank. I enjoy doing these videos, however they do take a while, so if you guys could, make sure you guys do leave a like, it does help. Also, make sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. I know I open up every single video with we're trying to hit 100k by the end of the year, but we gotta hit these small goals first, one at a time. Right now we're trying to finish with 4,000 by the end of the month, so hopefully in February we can hit 5k. With all that being said, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day, take care, peace. If you are still here, I very much appreciate you, and on the screen right now is going to be my what happened to every player drafted before Devin Booker, if you do want to see that. Anyways, cue the outro.